right, start us out with the story.
Okay, so today's topic, I'm gonna just set the tone with a scenario.
Okay.
So let's just envision you just sold your house and you bought a new house and you're getting all moved in your new house and you're just loving it. Oh my gosh. Next thing you know, you get a envelope in the mail. That's usually how you get mail.
Right.
And it's a letter saying...
Wait, there's a letter in this envelope.
Yeah, and it's saying you are getting sued because of something that happened on the house that you sold. Now, would you want to make sure that you knew what you were doing when you were selling your house rather than getting sued? Because you can get sued.
Well, duh.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a lame story, but we're getting into what's... today with it's called.
Well, if that's how you want to preface it, I actually just this did not happen to us, but I was talking to someone about a listing that this person had, and once it closed, the buyers came after them saying that they had to replace all of the carpet in the house because it smelled like urine. And they did.
Shane, what did I tell you about peeing on the carpet?
They did disclose that there were dogs in the house, and when they saw the house, the dogs had to be removed, so these people are aware of it. And the new buyer that lives in the house is suing for $15,000 because they had to replace all of the carpet. And the seller got a letter in the mail from the lawyer saying, pay up.
So just to preface this, we did not plan this.
Wow. Shane, you dirty dog.
So my response to that was, okay, Mr. Buyer, you should have sniffed that carpet then.
Oh,
just kidding. But anyway, yeah.
So that leads us into what we want to talk about today.
Right.
We are talking about what's called the seller.
We're talking about disclosures.
Right.
What sellers do have to, they do need to disclose, what they do not have to disclose. And then we're also going to talk about like your due diligence when you're buying a house, what you need to, or what you should be investigating during your inspection period or your due diligence period. There's a document called the SPUD, Seller Property Disclosure Statement. And this is a document that the seller should be filling out when they're listing their home so that it can be delivered to the buyer.
Correct.
And the buyer can review this and decide whether they want to move forward after reviewing this information. They can say, no, I don't like what I read in there. I'm out.
Or it gives them
learn about the property.
Exactly. It gives them information about the property that they can either give to their inspectors to look into further or get more inspections to look into further to see if it's worth their money.
Or put it on their to-do list once they do move in the house.
Or put it on their to-do list.
But you'll notice with a lot of the iBuyers or investors, people that just had the property as rentals, they don't typically have SPUDs on the home because they didn't live in the house, so they just don't.
That's a loophole.
Those MFs.
That's a loophole that you don't have to disclose anything if you don't live there. So it is what it is. So that's why you get inspections.
Yeah, but when we talk about the seller property disclosures, I think it's so important that you do disclose because you don't want to get that $15,000, lawsuit come in the mail and the envelope on the paper. So,
well, yeah, disclosures. So like in my world, disclosures are just as important just because if we don't disclose something on like an initial disclosure set, like we eat the costs.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't disclose it,
in lending,
it's not,
they tend to over disclose.
Yeah, we over disclose a ton because we don't want to have to eat those costs.
Right.
So it's kind of the same way when you're doing your SPUDs. Like you want to kind of, over disclose to a certain extent so you make sure you're covering your booty.
Yeah. So you need to disclose anything material about the property. But there's only a few things that you don't have to disclose. So we might as well just go into that real quick.
Okay.
So do you guys know what a seller does not have to disclose?
Shane, I'm going to hand the ball off to you.
I do, but I'm going to hand the ball back over to Rachel.
Really?
Rachel, we just did a flea flicker right there.
Really? You guys don't know it? Like, you can't name one thing?
I can name one thing that you don't have to disclose if somebody that lived in the property had HIV.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't have to. Why?
You do not have to.
Why? What does that have to do with a property? That's not an asset.
Nope. No, I mean, if you were buying a house, would you or would you not want to know if someone had HIV? Would that affect your position on buying the house?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't know.
It could be transmitted.
How?
I don't know, but it can be.
Well, HIV is
that means like us sitting. Yeah, that means like us sitting in a room right now. If one of you had HIV, like I'd be like,
yeah. What if?
Why didn't you disclose that to me?
Well, that's why we say you don't have to.
Yeah. Right. So
But I don't think that would change my mind on if I wanted to buy a house. Like, if it was a ballin' house, and I was like, yeah, I really like this house. And
well, that's just
like
the first
Magic
one.
Johnson.
Let's not get too far with this one. So, yes, you don't have to. I'll just read you what it says.
Yeah, we flicked you the ball.
There we go. So, you're not obligated to disclose a site of a natural death, suicide, homicide, or any crime classified as a felony.
Wait, what? Okay, that would change my mind for sure.
So you don't know if someone died in your house. They don't have to disclose it.
You don't have to disclose that. If you're selling your house tomorrow and you had a murder in your house, you would have to
disclose it.
What? See, but that makes sense because that house would be almost unsellable.
Correct.
Yep. You don't have to disclose if a person was exposed to HIV or diagnosed with any AIDS or as having AIDS or any other disease known to be transmitted through common occupancy of real estate. And you don't have to.
Shane, don't laugh.
Don't have to disclose if it is located within the vicinity of a sex offender.
Really?
Yeah.
Nope.
So if your neighbor was a
but if you have a good agent, they'll tell you where to look to find that information.
Right.
So you can do your own due diligence.
Yeah.
So that would take us into a different document called like a buyer advisory.